Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sharath and today we are going to discuss about DNB in Colombia, Asia, particularly the secondary DNB in the Colombia, Asia. So today the first things we are going to talk about is the work exposure or the freehand. Now coming to the secondary DNB, it's usually not like what the primary DNBs are expecting. The expectations, the real life work scenarios and are going to be slightly different from whatever is in the primary. So coming to the work exposure at Columbia, for secondary DNB, it's very good. Like you get to see all sorts of cases. We will have all varieties. We have subspecialist radiologists for most branches in Colombia as a part of the TR working team. So that's something to be really good, like to learn from subspecialty radiologists during DNB training, and you'll be drafting cases to them freehand in the sense that you're going to be doing drafting work. Of course, you'll have a lot of freehand here. You'll have you can do literally any case that you like to and what you want to improve, and so any case literally. So there is a freehand even for an ultrasound. I think we'll come to the ultrasound later. The cross-sectional exposure, which is what the secondary DNBs mostly require, you'll get enough of those cross-sections. Of course, that is also slightly limited by ultrasound. I'll come to that later. Um, of course, there is a free hand. There is no limitations to how many cases that you are going to do or how many ever that you want to do. There will be no limitations regarding that. Now coming to X-ray, of course, if you're most of the secondary DNBs would not be interested much to learn about X-ray or ultrasound in their secondary DNB. Although if you would like to have an exposure of the X-ray, fluoroscopy and USG, there's plenty much of exposure. Fluoroscopy, of course, recently a lot of procedures have been limited and most of them are not in currently use. So whatever the remaining procedures that are in currently use, like barium swallow or a MCU or a ascending urethrophy, all of them you can perform it firsthand, and also you can learn how to do and all, and that's I think enough exposure for fluoroscopy, X-ray and ultrasound. Now coming to CT MRI, as I already told you, usually there is like minimum of like 20 to 20 CTs and 10 MRs that are happening every day in the hospital, as well as we also have a teleradiology wing where there will be a lot of cases coming for cross-sectional cases that are going to be coming every day. So that should the number of cases is never going to be a limitation here. And coming to the academics, now academics, there are going to be classes that we are the staff would also conduct monthly one CME that they would also do, but otherwise there is a lot of scope on academics in the sense that they'll be allotting you classes, as well as faculty who are going to be your moderators, and most of you would already have experienced this in your PG, the same thing, but a lot of scope is given to the academics here, in the sense that they are going to be little more putting pressure on the classes happening, and they're going to be overseeing that you finish most of your classes, and in a way it's good. Coming to work duties, duties in the sense the night duties or on calls that we call night duties in Colombia, Asia for a secondary PG is slightly variable as compared to the primary ones. If even otherwise, if we look at it, there are going to be 4 PGs of secondary, and here the duty roster is slightly different in the sense that primaries have their own roster and the secondaries have their own roster. So when we are actually like thinking about it, so you're going to be having around 4 duties, sorry, 4 PGs, and for that monthly around 30 days. So overall you'll get one Sunday or one holiday, and the rest of it is like around 6 to 7 per month. Usually, yeah, around this one holiday and around 6 duties. And if the holidays increase, of course, if you are coming as a junior, you may have to do 1 or 2 extra. But otherwise, it's usually evenly distributed among the holidays, and the duties are going to be like 6 to 7. Uh, Night duties, and night duties are going to be pretty hectic. Of course, you're going to get a post duty off on the next day, so that should be fine. And the fetal medicine, of course, you're not going to be doing much of fetal cases here, except on emergency that you're going to be handling some ANC cases. Otherwise, you are going to be having one special 1 month of fetal medicine posting during your second year to learn and observe. Of course, there's going to be not going to be much hands-on in that aspect, since it's a corporate hospital, and the patients are very particular. They're not going to be much hands-on in the fetal medicine. Intervention postings, yeah, intervention postings. You'll get it is like based on your choice. Actually, you'll have enough of interventional postings. Like you'll get at least 4 in your entire 1 month of intervention posting, at least 4 times in your entire course, DNB course of 2 years. So, and if you want more, of course, that's it's a flexible thing, adjustment between the primaries and secondaries. So if you want more intervention, of course, you'll get you can talk it out among your primary colleagues, and you can take more interventional postings about that. And then there is no other peripheral postings apart from Columbia Asia. The 1 month of the fetal posting is going to be at another private hospital, which Columbia staff itself attend to, and that will be your peripheral. That is supposed to be the fetal medicine, as well as the only peripheral posting so far. There are no other peripheral postings as compared to this. Now, coming to an overview of how the secondaries are expected to be in the Columbia Asia DNB course. Now, considering that there are going to be only 4 PGs, and you'll have to do basically, as of now, there is but the primary DNB people are not allowed to do any ultrasounds. So you're going to be having much to do in that aspect. However, talking about that, it'd be like you'll have the postings are basically divided into 1 month of hospital posting and another month of teleradiology posting. So in the 1 month of the local hospital posting, you are going to be focusing much on the ultrasounds, because the primaries are not allowed to do ultrasound there. So you'll have at least 10 to 15 ultrasound cases per day, and that's variable. Like some days you may have more, or some days you may have less. As well as you can do cross sections when you are in the local hospital setting as well, but ultrasound is of course your first primary responsibility. The second thing is that after the teleradiology posting, of course, you'll be doing only cross sections for an entire month. No thing of the ultrasound there. And about the work hours, it will be usually an 8-hour shift on the in variable timings. That will be once you get the seat, and once you get into the hospital, your seniors will be telling you about the work hours more. Overall, the duty hours, of course, if you are on a night duty, you're supposed to be doing like at least a 20-hour shift when you come in at 12 o'clock and leave at 8 o'clock next day, and then the next day is an off for you. So I think we have covered most of things for the secondary DNB aspect. Basically, I know many of the secondary DNBs would be liking to gain more exposure in the cross-sectional field. In that aspect, if we are thinking, it is overall okay, sort of average exposure, wherein sometimes you're getting to do more ultrasounds than what you want, and you want to focus more on cross section. But I think overall it's an okay institute. Uh, uh, the rest of the things, if you have any doubts, I'll be leaving my email in the comment in the link, along with the link, so you can get to talk to me, or ask your doubts, anything else that are there. Thank you.
Please like, share and subscribe for more such content.